what I'd like to do here is talk about some of the key metrics that you can measure as a result of marketing automation throughout your business. And if you visualize your customer journey as a start, a middle, and a finish, right? You might have more milestones, but let's use 3 for now. I like to anchor the point of purchase as that middle milestone because it forces us to remember that there is a portion of our customer's journey after they have become a customer. The credit card swipe isn't the end of the road. It is actually just an inflection point where they go from being a prospect to being a customer. So the first thing I would do is encourage you to examine the customer journey and find what those milestones are, because I promise you they're there. The difference is that you may not have called them that. You may not have thought about them as milestones, but there are key indicators that tell us our prospect is making progress. And so start to measure those, start to track those over time. Because if you say, great, I had 5 new leads this month. In a vacuum, we don't know if that's good or bad. The only way we can tell is when we track it over time. And you say, great, I had 5, and I had 7 the next month, and then I had 1. Well, now you know that, well, that's well below where we should be. Or if you had, 100 and then 104 and then 96 and then 130, you know that, okay, it's trending up. Something happened that moved it in the right way. But without the historical context, those numbers mean a lot less. So what I would recommend is tracking each of your milestones and then tracking them over time. So what you can see is that milestone number 1 is holding steady. Milestone number 2 is trending up. Those are both fine, but milestone number 3 is starting to trend down. So what this does for us as the small business owner or as the decision maker in your business is it gives us an area where we should focus. The next layer of this is recognizing that we have a gap between any of these 2 milestones. The pathway between milestone 1 and 2, between 2 and 3, between 3 and 4, etc. What does that experience look like? If we just look at this segment of the customer's journey, what actually takes place there? Because it was designed by someone, but that doesn't mean that it's good. It doesn't mean that it's effective, and it doesn't mean that it is intentional. So you want to look at strategically, which touch points do I have in there? Do I have enough, right? If it normally takes people a month to make it from milestone to milestone 2, how much content and over how long do we have scheduled in that window? And if it's only 3 weeks worth of content, then you might need to add an additional few touch points to get to that 30-day marker. My normal recommendation is to have more planned for any individual window than you expect it to take. So if you plan for it to take 6 months, you want to have 7, 8, or 9 months worth of content lined up for those people. You're designing the bridge, so to speak, that paves that path. You're designing it for the people who need the most time, not necessarily for the people who move through it the quickest. So that's a quick little reminder for you. The other thing you can do once you have optimized the individual conversion is work on shrinking the window between those stages. Is challenging. Great, we've got our system, it's working, its contacts are flowing all the way through it, but how do we expedite that process? And in some instances, you may not be able to. If you've got a 14-day free trial, people might want to take all 14 days, right? And you can't go faster through that 14-day window. They've got to have time for that content to be consumed. But there are some times that you can shrink a decision-making process to help people get to that next milestone by proactively addressing their concerns, by being clear about the expectation you're setting, anticipating the things that they may have objections to, and then using case studies or testimonials to diffuse those objections before they can even surface. Step number 1, measure those milestones. Step number 2, work on optimizing the conversion from stage to stage. And step number 3 is I would track the amount of time it takes people to get from milestone to milestone and then work on shrinking that window wherever you can. So those are, at a high level, the metrics that I would recommend measuring as it pertains to your customer journey and the role that marketing automation plays throughout it. If you have your own metrics or suggestions or anything that I missed in this video, please feel free to leave comments below.